All right, part 2 of why you should open a Roth IRA now instead of waiting. If it's this what it takes to get off your butt to do this, this will be helpful, I'm telling you. So here's part 2. And again, I don't know how many parts we're going to have in here, but it's all based partially on my book, The Tax Bomb in Your Retirement, and how the Roth IRA can help you avoid it. This actually is more of just a little bit more of the reasons why mechanically you need to open a Roth, but then we'll get into some tax consequence in further videos. So don't forget to subscribe down below. Of course, share the episode with other people. Comments, thumbs up. The whole thing helps me immensely to use the YouTube algorithm to my benefit, which gets this in more and more people's world on YouTube, and that could help me get more traffic, and it helps me. So if you're trying to help me, this is the way to do it. Just at least comment, thumbs up, and share. All right, so the part 2 of this will be the 5-year rule, and I think, again, this gets overlooked a lot. So remember, we have 2 things. We have contributory, contributions, and conversions. All right, conversions and contributory. Let me just actually write that out. Contributory. All right, so contributory is when I add $6,000 into it, just directly into it. Conversion, it could be any amount. Doesn't matter how much I make, any amount. A conversion means I'm taking money from an IRA, a 401k, a 403b, a TSP. I'm going to pay tax. I'm not paying penalty because I'm moving it over to a Roth. So essentially I'm saying $50,000 is coming from my IRA to my Roth, and I'm going to get a 1099, I think it's an R at the end of the year, which says from your custodian, Vanguard, Fidelity, or whoever owns your 401k plan, old Josh moved $50,000 out of this IRA. All right, so you're going to get a 1099-R that said that money is out. At the end of the year, you need to get something, I think it's a 5498 to offset that 1099-R. The 5498, I think, I'm almost positive 5498, says to the IRS, Josh also contributed, or he in this case converted, that $50,000 into his Roth. All right, so they need to offset each other. When you're doing a contribution directly to the Roth, you don't get a 1099-R, you get a 5498 that says how much you put in there. And that's on any IRA. I'm almost positive 5498, but if I'm wrong, just put in the show notes what the real tax form is. It's not 8606. Now, anyway, either way, it doesn't matter. You get a 1099-R when you take money out of an IRA. That tells the IRS you need to pay tax on that amount you took out of the IRA. If you don't convert that to a Roth, then you're just going to pay tax on it. If you convert it to a Roth, you'll get a follow-up form, I think it's May 31st, that's a 5498. And as long as those 2 things mesh, you're good to go. No problem at all. And that's how this works. So with a conversion, what has to happen here is, unless the account is open for 5 years, you do not have access to that $50,000 that you converted. So this right here is not free and clear of any taxes or penalties. All right, it's not until 5 years have gone by. This amount that you contributed is 100% free and clear, regardless of who you are. It doesn't matter. This right here is 100% free and clear of any taxes or any penalties if you take the distribution out. You don't need to wait 5 years. This you do. The 5-year rule applies to this. So if the account grows to $60,000 and we're only in year 2 and you need braces, you cannot touch any of these things because the 5-year rule hasn't been met. It hasn't. So the 5-year rule is applicable to your gains. All right, so your gains, and you have to be over 59.5 to take your gains out. So let me just explain this. To get this $10,000 of gain, you have to be over 59.5 and have had the account open for 5 years. Those are the two rules when it comes to the gains. You have to be over 59.5 and have the account open for 5 years. When it comes to the 50K, you just have had to have the account open for 5 years. You could be 36 years old, a race car driver. Jerry was a race car driver. Anyone? Jerry was a race car driver? If you know the answer to that question, put it in the show notes and you'll win the internet for the day. So Jerry was a race car driver. He could be 36 years old, As long as 5 years have gone over since he did this conversion, he has access to his entire $50K without penalty, without taxes. He does not have access to this, though, without penalty and taxes until he's 59 and a half. I hope that makes sense. Now, in this case, Jerry has access. If this was grown to, if this had grown, now in this case, if Jerry, if this had grown to $7,000, he only has access to this until he's 59 and a half and had the account open for 5 years. But once he's 59 and a half and had the account open for 5 years, he has access to the entirety. Once he's 59 and a half and had the account open for 5 years, he has access to the entirety. Here he has access to his contributions whenever. Here he has access to his contributions only when the account's been open for 5 years. Another reason you need to open the Roth now to get the 5-year plan started. Now this is where it gets kind of interesting, and frankly, look, the IRS isn't stupid, all right? So here's what I think a lot of people, myself included, thought you might be able to get away with, and I would not make this recommendation. But it's very alluring. Alluring is probably the better word. Very alluring. All right, so let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is actually funny because I've actually thought this myself, and I just didn't have the guts to try it because if you ever get audited, you will lose. All right, so let's use a better pen. Yeah, we're gonna have contributions, and we're gonna have the conversions. All right. So I opened a Roth IRA, and now it's 2019. Just remember that, 2019. So I opened a Roth IRA in 2013, for instance. All right, and I have, we'll just say $10,000 in there. So I opened a Roth contributory IRA in 2013. I have $10,000 in there. It's 2019. I want to take, let's get a different color here. What do I got in my, sweet. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I want to take $50K and convert it, and I'm going to convert that to this right here. All right, so I want to take $50K and move it from my IRA or 401K, and I'm going to convert it. So I'm going to put that into this IRA here. Now, this was a Roth contributory IRA, so I'm going to commingle contributory contributions with Roth with conversions. I'm commingling those. So, interesting, huh? Because 2019, I'm moving money from my IRA or 401k to a contributory Roth via the process of a conversion. Again, if I did 50K, the IRS will get a 1099-R at tax year at the year end, and then they'll follow that up with a 5498. Those things mesh, so I should be good to go there. No penalties. No, we got to pay tax with no penalty. But because I put this conversion not in his own separate conversion IRA, Roth IRA, I put it in my Roth contributory IRA. The contributory IRA I opened in 2013. It's 2019, so 6 years have gone by. So it's well beyond the 5-year rule that I need to wait for my conversions, right? Because I've had the account open for 5 years or more. And I do my conversion now, so I should be able to have access to that 50K tax-free, right? No, that has still, each conversion you do has its own 5-year concept. You got to remember that. So you do 2019, you got to wait till 2024. You do another 50K in 2020, you got to wait till 2025. And so on and so on. Even if you move these commingle into a Roth contributory IRA, or even another, it doesn't matter if it's contributory, even if you move it to another Roth IRA that of itself has been open for 5 years. These numbers right here are still not free and clear because you haven't had the account open for 5 years relative to when you did the conversion. I hope that makes sense. I'm telling you right now, your old buddy Josh thought about this way back in the old days when Roth first came out in 1997. And I said, this is when I left, I think it was when I left Vanguard, and I said, man, I need some money. So I started rolling over my IRA, my Roth, my 401ks, and so that was rolled to an IRA. I started converting them into my Roth under the assumption I could take them out after just right there, because I had the Roth IRA open from 1997. So like in 2002, I said, oh, I can just convert from my traditional IRA to my Roth and pull the money out. I never did it, just simply because I frankly did it earlier than I paid the penalty, because we need the money. There's no other way around that. But that was my thought process, and it sounds right, but it's wrong. I mean, the IRS, they know that what you're trying to do, and they're going to say that's great. You have a 1099-R, you have a 5498 that meshes. The problem is you haven't had the 5-year rule in effect. Thus, you're going to pay a 10% penalty on this $50,000 because you pulled it out before the 5-year rules are up. I hope that makes sense. It's important to understand that as a rule of the 5 year, the contributory rules are different than the conversion rules. The conversion rules, you've got to wait 5 years before you have access to the principal. And of course, you'll never have access to the earnings on either until the account has been open for 5 years and you're over 59 and a half. So again, another reason to start the Roth IRA now, just to at least get that 5-year threshold going. Secondly, another reason to go ahead and make the conversions now, given your tax situation, I don't know what it is, but that way you can also start those 5-year rules going too on your conversions as well. So hope that's interesting of you for you guys. I guess that's pretty much it on this one. Stay tuned for more videos on this. We'll show you about another reason to open the Roth, because we're going to show you the tax consequence. And I cannot stress how important this is on tax consequence when it comes to your Social Security benefits. We'll do that one next, because I think that gets overlooked. And we'll see you next time. As always, if you find this video helpful, subscribe, comment, thumbs up. If you want to donate to the cause here, I'll be happy to accept your donations. I do not give, it's not tax-free. You're literally giving me a gift. But if you go to heritagewealthplanning.com, you'll see a little donate button on the website. And if you find value in these videos and you say, hey, throw $5 to me, that's fine. Throw $1 million to me, it's fine. Hey, if you were to give me $1 million, you don't pay tax on that. You realize that, right? So I mean, try it. Give me $1 million, and we'll see if you pay tax on it. The answer is you don't, because you have this significant gift tax exemption, not just the $15,000. So feel free to go ahead and donate $1 million. I'm joking. Yeah. There are some very, very literal people out there. Stop being so literal. It's okay to smile. All right, so we'll see you next time on the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, and watch the next video where we talk about the tax consequences on the Roth IRA as well. Thanks, guys.